Hey guys, so at the beginning of this part today, Dad had invited Exukin to meet. He told her that your mommy is arranging so many blind dates for you, but you don't seem interested, Sue said. I like someone else. So her dad asked, is that guy's song still in your heart? Exu couldn't lie in front of her dad and said yes. But her dad said, you know how strict your mom is. She has all the power, and she may never approve of these. We are your parents. We want what's best for you. These feelings of love and passion will fade with time. We want you to have a good life. Now, the decision is in your hands. You want freedom, you'll have to leave this family. So, which will you choose? That guy or our family? After hearing this, Exukin starts to remember some old things. When her mother found out that she was insisting on studying here instead of going abroad because she liked Song, she got very angry. She said, this guy won't get admission to a good university. What's his future? He has no family background and he doesn't have much money. If you want to ruin your future with him, go ahead. Decide whether you want to stay with our family or be with that guy. It was actually after this pressure that Exu made the decision to break up with Song. And then we saw what happened earlier. Exukin's childhood was spent under a lot of pressure. Her mother always liked to control and give orders to others. She would dictate how her children should eat, sit, stand, and even choose their friends. They were also ordered not to make friends with anyone from outside their circle. Sue was very confused. Today, she had invited Song to meet at a specific place. Usually, when Song heard about meeting Exu, he would always come up with some excuse. But today, he had silently agreed to meet her. While they were having dinner, Exukin appeared extremely anxious, flustered and confused at that moment. It seemed like her mind was elsewhere. Then she gathered the courage to say, you've helped me 2 or 3 times, and I've helped you with the police issue, which means we're now equal. No one owes anyone any favors. I just wanted to say that. Song understood that the girl who had previously tried to approach him was now talking like this, implying that Meng family's pressure had come into play again, and that's why she had decided to take a different path. Song says, all right, and whatever happened to me is actually the fault of that day when my eyes fell on you, and I fell in love at first sight. That's why I have to endure all this. Since Yu left Song's, his life has turned upside down. Before he could say anything else, there's a commotion as news spreads that there's a fire somewhere. Song runs towards it and sees some people trapped in a restaurant. He goes inside to rescue them. First, he saves a chef's life and brings him out. Then, he hears a girl screaming in fear. She was hiding under a table, terrified. Song carries her out like a hero. The girl turns out to be none other than Exia Ryo. Along with her, Song used fire rescue equipment to extinguish the fire. Song looks like a true hero, and he's quite hot. Zia Ryo couldn't ignore such a macho man. Then Ryo starts following Exukin and says, do you know this guy? Who is he? Please introduce me or at least give me his number. Give me his number. Exukin, who didn't share much with people to begin with, doesn't reveal anything and quietly shares Song's number. Ryo calls Song and says, I'm the girl you just saved, the one in black clothes. But she's disappointed because Song didn't even notice her. She suggests treating him to a meal, but Song declines and hangs up. Upon seeing this, Exukin secretly felt a sense of joy. However, Ryo says, you haven't seen my skills yet. I'll make this guy my boyfriend. Now, when Song returns to his fire station, the first thing he does is go to meet his friend Yang Chi. Chai was very upset because he had gone on a rescue mission, and there were some heart-wrenching stories that deeply affected him. After this incident, Chai was extremely distressed. Song goes to meet Chi, offering him some comfort and saying no one is made of steel. Since the accident with Mr. Su, Song had changed a lot and now valued Chi considerably. He consoles him. Afterward, Song starts venting his anger on a punching bag, constantly thinking about how Exukin re-entered his life. One moment, she asked him to be her boyfriend, and the next moment, she pushed him out of her life again. He starts feeling like he's either a toy or so inadequate that she changed her mind about him. On the other hand, Ik-soo-kwin was also very upset, unable to figure things out. She calls Ik-seo and says, "I need to discuss something with you. I'll come to meet you at your bar." He goes to his office to wait for Ik-soo-kwin. However, when he arrives, he finds Reo already sitting there like an uninvited guest. Furthermore, Ik-seo is trying to get her to leave. To top it off, Chen also shows up. Now, Ik-seo thinks that Ik-soo-kwin came to meet him for a private discussion. As soon as Ik-soo arrives, seeing the two of them, her mood is slightly affected. But before Ik-soo can share her story, Reo starts speaking about her situation. She says, "I found a hot boy, and I'm in a one-sided love. I've tried to contact him many times, asking him to meet me or go on a date with me, but he's been refusing." Just as Reo was sitting there, she receives a message, and she jumps with joy because she got a reply. The hot guy is ready to meet her. She even tells them the guy's name. Upon hearing this, both Ik-seo and Chen are left in shock. Ik-soo couldn't stop Reo, but her heart was surely breaking. She goes to the restroom to cry, and that's where Yi-zi notices her. Yi-zi had realized that something was amiss with Ik-soo. At Song's house, his parents had noticed that since he met Ik-soo-kwin, he had been sad. His uncle instructs Song's aunt to be strict with him and not allow him to meet Ik-soo-kwin, as she had been causing him pain every time she entered his life. So they decide to be strict with him. At the same time, Ik-soo-kwin was trying to drown her sorrows with one drink after another. She gets very drunk and leaves the bar alone. Ik-seo and Chen are worried about her and follow her. They find her getting into a taxi. Chen was strict, but a protective brother also. He silently follows her taxi to ensure she gets home safely. However, he realizes that instead of heading home, Ik-soo-kwin is going to Song's house. She forcefully enters Song's house and stands outside his room. There, Meow informs her my brother had gone on a date and might not return tonight. When Ik-soo sees his shoes in anger, she starts picking them up and throwing them around. Just then, Song also arrives at the scene. But before Ik-soo can say anything, Ik-seo appears and tries to take Ik-soo away. But Ik-soo stops, and before leaving with Ik-seo, she pushes Song away to go on a date with another girl and says, "You don't deserve me because I love you more than you love me." In fact, Ju has never been able to speak her heart since childhood. But today, while drunk, she finally confesses her feelings and says, "What should I do? I'm helpless. I never want to hurt the parents who raised me, go against them, or cause them pain. But what can I do about this heart that can't stop loving you? These days, I'm working so hard in my field to become professionally independent, make my parents proud, and live my life freely. I'm just a girl. I'm weak. Now I'm doing so much to win you. But what effort have you made to be with me when I left you out of necessity because I was dependent on my parents? But you know well that I couldn't move on from you all these years. Despite that, I always tried to put my ego aside and move forward. Why are you always so rude?" Now, she was asking Song these questions while crying, and Song remained silent. He endured her emotional outburst without saying anything, even though she was hitting him. When Yi-zi was about to leave, Meow wanted to explain something to her on behalf of her brother, to tell her what her brother had done. However, Song stopped her. At one point, he sat down and cried, then made a decision and started running after her. He runs, and when he reaches, he sees that the wall of the Ming family is still standing between them. Ming Chen puts his sister in an expensive car and takes her away, while Song stands in a small alley, watching them. And here, this part ends. To see what happens next, we'll have to wait for the next episode. If you